The sun was dipping low over the manicured lawns of Willow Creek Estates, casting long shadows that danced like uninvited guests across my driveway. I was midway through my evening ritual, sipping a cold beer on the porch, watching the neighborhood. Kids pedal by on their bikes when the rumble shattered the peace. A massive tow truck, its lights flashing like a bad omen, lumbered up the street and screeched to a halt right in front of my house. The driver, a burly guy with a clipboard and a scowl, hopped out and eyed my pride and joy. The custom bike rack I'd installed just last month. It held my mountain bike, my road racer, and my wife's vintage cruiser, all gleaming under the fading light. Little did he know, the HOA had sent him on a fool's errand. They forgot one crucial detail, and it was about to turn their petty power play to a neighborhood legend. My name's Alex Rivera, and I've lived in Willow Creek for 5 years. It's one of those gated communities where the houses look like they stepped out of a catalog, and the rules are thicker than a phone book. The Homeowners Association, HOA for short, runs the show with an iron fist wrapped in velvet gloves. They dictate everything from the shade of your mailbox to the height of your grass. I'm a software engineer by day, cyclist by passion. I built that bike rack myself. Sturdy aluminum frame bolted into the concrete, with a sleek design that blended right into the garage exterior. It wasn't some eyesore. It was functional art. But according to the HOA's latest newsletter, outdoor storage structures were now verboten unless pre-approved. I'd ignored the warning letter they slipped under my door 2 weeks ago. Why? Because I knew something they didn't. The trouble started innocently enough. Last spring, after a nasty wipeout on a trail that left me with a sprained ankle, I decided to get serious about my biking setup. No more chaining bikes to the fence or cramming them in the garage like sardines. I researched local codes, consulted a buddy who's a contractor, and even double-checked the HOA bylaws. That's when I spotted at the loophole, Section 14.2 of the covenants. Permanent fixtures integral to the property's utility infrastructure shall be exempt from aesthetic review. Utility infrastructure. It's vague as hell, but my bike rack wasn't just storage. It was wired with solar-powered lights and a charging station for my e-bike. I documented everything, including permits from the city. It's the HOA. They skimmed the surface and assumed I was another rule-breaking pleb. As the tow truck driver approached, clipboard in hand, I set my beer down and strolled out, feigning casual interest. "Evening," I said, crossing my arms. "What's the occasion?" He grunted, not looking up. "HOA complaint. Unauthorized structure. Gotta remove it." That guy. He jerked his thumb at my bike rack, already unhooking a chain from his truck. I glanced around. Neighbors were peeking through curtains. Mrs. Hargrove from across the street, binoculars in hand. The Johnsons pretending to water their already drowning azaleas. This was primetime drama in suburbia. "Hold up," I replied, my voice steady. "Got paperwork for that?" He thrust the clipboard at me. Sure enough, a violation notice signed by HOA President Eleanor Vance, the self-appointed queen of conformity. She'd been gunning for me since I painted my front door a non-approved shade of blue last year. It was navy, for crying out loud. The notice cited Rule 7.9, no external modifications without board approval. Fine print demanded immediate removal at owner's expense, or they'd handle it and bill me triple. I chuckled, threw him off. "Something funny, buddy?" "Oh, just the irony," I said, pulling out my phone. See, Eleanor and her cronies forgot. "One detail. This isn't just a bike rack." He paused, chain dangling. "Looks like one to me. It's a multifunctional utility station," I explained, zooming in on the photos I'd snapped during installation. "Solar panels power LED lights for safety, and there's a USB port for charging devices. It's tied into my home's electrical grid, permitted by the city as an energy-efficient upgrade. Check the bylaws, exempt from HOA oversight." The driver's brow furrowed. He wasn't paid to argue semantics. "I just follow orders. Call the office if you got beef." As he looped the chain around the rack's base, I dialed Eleanor directly. She'd given out her number at the last meeting, probably to seem approachable. It rang twice before her clipped voice answered. "Vance speaking. Eleanor, it's Alex Rivera. Your tow guy's here, about to yank my bike rack. You might want to rethink that." A pause, Then her signature huff. Mr. Rivera, we've discussed this. It's an eyesore and violates Section 14.2, I interrupted. Permanent fixtures integral to utility infrastructure. I have the city permit right here. Emailed it to the board last month. You approved the solar installation, remember? This is part of it. Silence on the line. Could almost hear the gears grinding in her head. The tow driver, sensing trouble, stopped and wiped sweat from his forehead. Neighbors were now openly gawking. Phones out for the inevitable viral video. Eleanor's voice returned, tighter than before. That permit was for rooftop panels, not ... whatever this is. Nope, I countered, emailing her the full documentation on the spot. Read the fine print. The rack's frame conducts power from the panels to ground-level outlets. It's all one system. Removing it would violate city code and probably void my home insurance. She muttered something about consulting the lawyer. The driver, growing impatient, radioed his dispatch. Boss, we got a hold-up here. Homeowners claiming exemption. While we waited, I decided to up the ante.
Hey, everyone.
I called out to the gathering crowd. About a dozen neighbors had wandered over, forming a loose semicircle. Come see what the HOA's up to now. Towing a green energy setup because it holds bikes. Murmurs rippled through the group. Mr. Patel, who ran the community garden, nodded. Approvingly, I've got solar too. Does this mean they can tow my panels? The Johnsons exchanged glances. Just installed EV chargers, Mrs. Johnson whispered. Is that next? The driver shifted uncomfortably, chain still in hand. Eleanor's call came back 15 minutes later, in Todoric time. Fine, she snapped. Stand down. But this isn't over, Mr. Rivera. We'll review at the next meeting. I grinned as the driver packed up, muttering apologies. The truck rumbled away, leaving my bike rack untouched. Neighbors clapped, some even high-fiving me. It felt like I'd won the Super Bowl of suburbia, but the real fun was just beginning. Word spread like wildfire through the neighborhood chat groups. By morning, my inbox was flooded with messages. How'd you pull that off? Can you help with my fence issue? Turns out I wasn't the only one chafing under Eleanor's regime. The HOA had overreached one too many times, fining people for holiday lights, banning vegetable gardens, even dictating pet breeds. Inspired, I organized an informal meet at my place that weekend. We called it the Rebel Rack Rally. Folks brought potluck dishes, kids played in the yard, and we pored over the bylaws like revolutionaries decoding enemy plans. My wife Maria baked her famous empanadas, turning it into a block party. Mr. Patel shared his loophole for composting bins classified as soil enhancement tools. The Johnsons revealed they'd snuck in a hot tub by labeling it a therapeutic water feature. Eleanor caught wind, of course. She showed up uninvited, arms crossed, flanked by two board members looking like reluctant bodyguards. This is unauthorized assembly, she declared, voice echoing over the chatter. I handed her a plate of empanadas. It's a neighborhood barbecue. Eleanor. By Law 22.4, allows social gatherings under 50 people. She eyed the crowd, maybe 30 strong, and deflated a bit. We're here to discuss your ... structure. We sat her down, and for the first time she listened. Turns out, the board was under pressure from a vocal minority, including a developer eyeing expansions. Our pushback opened her eyes, or at least cracked the door. By evening's end, she agreed to a bylaw review committee, with residents like me on it. Months later, Willow Creek felt different. The HOA eased up. Bike racks popped up everywhere. Gardens flourished, and even my Navy door stayed put. I still ride every morning, waving to neighbors who've become friends. That tow truck incident. It became lore retold at every gathering. The HOA sent a tow truck over my bike rack. They forgot one detail. Never underestimate a cyclist with a loophole. Looking back, it wasn't just about the rack. It was about standing up to the little tyrannies that chip away at freedom. In a world of rules, sometimes you gotta pedal your own path. And if they come for your bike, make sure it's bolted. Down tight with paperwork to match.